We've had a couple of meetings where we've asked the community about their input. We know your feelings about recovery. We know your feelings about boarding homes. And we are actively trying to make something that will be palatable for everyone concerned. So my partner met with a couple of people in the community, and we're talking about, this is not in stone, this is just a proposal. We're talking about doing some things for veterans. Stats say that there's approximately 1,000 homeless veterans in the city of Philadelphia on any given day, male and female. Our facility happens to be set up to where we can do both populations without a zoning issue, and work very closely with the Veterans Administration, the Office of Intellectual Disabilities, to provide the kind of comprehensive services that veterans need to get readjusted to society. That's what we have on the table right now. Councilwoman Sanchez is looking at a draft of our proposal as we speak. As I said, we have spoke to some folks in the community in regard to that particular population, because as I said at the last couple of meetings, we want to do something because we're here, we bought the property, we're your neighbor, we want to be neighborly and have something that the community can buy into. Any questions?
I heard Ms. Washington say don't dwell so much on recovery. My thing is, from what I'm hearing, and I want an understanding of, so instead of asking, from what I know of recovery houses and from people I know who work in that industry, to me it sounds like it's a recovery house just for veterans. Now, where's the differential? Because a recovery house is a recovery house. From what I'm hearing, this is just a recovery house for veterans only. So where's the differential? Because from what it sounds like the way he's running it, huh? No, I'm talking about the way he's saying, from what he's saying, listen, I'm not trying to debate. I just want to know where's the line. From what he's saying, okay, the hours, they're doing something constructive, they had these mental issues, this and that. If you go to some of the recovery houses, I don't know if you're familiar, my brother-in-law runs one. And from what they do, it's the same structure, what he's saying. So I'm just wondering, is it a recovery house, but your main criteria is you have to be a veteran? You follow me? Because that's what it sounds like. And from what I hear throughout the community, that's why I'm asking that question.
These veterans that we're talking about are qualified, will be qualified, as he said, to have their own voucher, and they're on the verge of becoming independent in the community. This is an apartment that they'll share and help support each other. There are some similarities. There is structure. And one of the things that we're looking at, and me being a vet, I'm going to say, these guys are coming from structured situations while they're in the military. Part of the breakdown is when they get out into society and have no guidance. So part of what we're trying to do is develop a quasi-family type camaraderie situation where they can glean off each other's experiences while they're quote-unquote not independent, but quasi-independent. In recovery houses, they may be in bunk beds, they may be 4 people to a room or whatever. We're talking about maybe 2 people to an apartment.
There are recovery houses like that too.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. It seems like the same structure.
No, not all of them. I'm not going to say, listen, you guys are intelligent enough that when veterans have issues, they have issues. I'm not going to stand here and lie to you and say these people don't have any issues, but one of the things that they do have is they have the support of the VA. Some of these guys will be coming out of Coatesville and have been there for like 2 years and are ready to come into society, but just need a step-down situation to where they can get it together, find employment, do the things that they need to do to develop family situations and live like we do. Yes.
You asked the councilwoman, did you know we have a nursing home 2 doors away from him, and we have a women's recovery house right there on the corner of 50th and Penn Street, and 3 recovery house right there on 50th and Griswold Street. We have 2 recovery house right across the street from 7-Eleven, and 1 right there next to Thriftway. We have a recovery house right next to Tony Payton. We have a recovery house right there on Leaper and Overton. It's everywhere, so we really don't need it right next to Frankford High School. The kids coming right there, right directly across the street from my house, and right next to her house. We don't need.
When I started the meeting,
But
I have not allowed recovery houses
But
to
I'm
come
just
in.
trying to say.
I'm totally aware of all of them. I had L&I inspect every single house that was ever reported to our office. We have done everything we can with our code enforcement ability. I don't like this any more than you do. And I can tell you the countless people that have approached me about different things in Frankfurt that never even make it to the community. I say no, I didn't say that. Did I say no? I have that every single day. The problem that we have here in this particular property situation is it's zoned for a certain amount of usage. And he can stay under that usage, and outside of me having an inspector make sure that the stuff is clean, that it's wired right, and all that other stuff, I can't do nothing other than what, in that threshold. And so, going back to Kim's point is, and I agree with you, the way the contractors dealt with, and that's why I said this issue of the rumors and how all this stuff, comes to be, doesn't help. It has not helped his case about what he wants to do because there is no trust and faith that what he's saying, and we want to believe him, is true. I get that. I live in the neighborhood. I have a methadone clinic, a residential treatment center, all around the corner from my house. I get that. But he can do certain things in that property. And we have an opportunity to shape it and part it, and that's why I asked John to talk a little bit about this veteran stuff, because it's not that simple to manage veterans, particularly veterans under those circumstances. And if he decides he wants to do a veteran and he's under that threshold and I can't do anything, all I can do is try to get the deacon to seek those best practices.
And
So there's certain things that we're going to say no to, but at a certain point, we need to get to under what conditions can this gentleman operate this building. I just drove by it today, again, on the way here. And, it has the address written in chalk over there. It's a mess.
I really want to thank the councilwoman because she was being very clear with us to understand that she has implied the law. She is our law person. She is the person we elected to apply the laws and regulations of this city on whomever is to abuse us. And that is what she's doing. But I do believe, sir, I want you to be clear that it is our job as community members to not let you run over top of us. There's a difference between what she can do and what we can do. So I want us to be clear with each other, because where you're putting it, there's one right literally on this corner, and you will be on the opposite corner of me. And I've got a 9-year-old, and no disrespect to you, I'm around the corner from the high school, and those kids walk up and down my block every day and they have to pass it. So I want you to be clear that we're standing in the house of God because we want you to understand as a deacon to be respectable and represent that house, to allow it to have God be in charge. Because if we don't, it will go amok. I'm sitting here talking to my a pop person here, my church member here. Even though we are separate churches, we're still brothers and sisters of God. And he was talking about veteran housing. And I believe that that may be a great solution. But what the requirements to get into the house are really how it's going to get run. Because Tony's absolutely right. Recovery, and I know this gentleman here from Dr. Evans' office can tell you the same, tend to be the same rules. They're going to be clinicians. They're going to be coordinators. Our hope is there'll be some plan that will be in writing that can get circulated to us so we can stop having discussion and actually have something in writing. Because it's great for you to talk to us, but we're intelligent people and we can read and we can then have discussion once we have something in writing. But what I think we really are looking for is for you to understand that this room is packed for a reason. This room is packed because what we really want to do is make sure you understand that you cannot just come in and allow things to go amok. We're all about recovery. We really are. We're all about having veterans move on. But who's coming in? Who's going to regulate who comes in the door? Will it be someone who's fresh off of recovery? Or is it just someone who is fresh out of the military? For example, let's put some rules to it. Is the person out of the military in a year, finding themselves homeless, has not been in recovery previously, has a clean drug record? That's the kind of stuff we're looking for in writing so that we can then say to you, okay, that makes sense. Because you just saying, oh, it could be here, or they could include this, or they could come from here. That puts too much conjecture in our minds. It puts entirely too much guess on our hearts. And we want to be able to walk upright and know that it's going to go properly. And so we just need to really hear from you. At least I do. I can't speak for them, but for me, I can say that I'm looking for some specifics about who's going to be let in. Because then once it's in, there can be regulations placed on it. Dr. Evans' office can then check you. The councilwoman's office can check you. But if we don't know who's coming in the door, we don't know what situation those people are coming from and how they will be regulated. I think we all have veterans in our family who have been through things. So we understand where they come from, and we're not trying to shut them out by no means. We want to see them well. We want to see them succeed. And we appreciate a 12-month timeline. But bigger than that, who's coming through the door, right? It's like your own house, right? I have a daughter. There ain't no boy coming through my house till he grown with a job and could be to college. It's simple as that. It's about the rules, right? So if you know who's coming through the door, then we can then have bigger discussion about how we can work as a community to help you.
Okay, what I like to see, the plan. First, the plan, I want the square footage in each one of the units, because there's a criteria for how many people can be in a unit.
Yeah.
You want that. The code, you go get the city code. I will get the city code to find out exactly what you do, but you can myself. And for veterans, we don't want disabled veteran. I'm a disabled veteran, okay, myself. And I know certain veterans, we don't want in the neighborhood. They come with a lot of material. And I can tell you that because I'm at the VA all the time. And we can hardly control them when we're down there ourselves sitting around waiting for our service. So stay within that guideline. And they have to be in Coatesville for a period of time before they can come down the neighborhood.
Right.
We don't want any trouble.
I agree.
Veterans carry a lot of dead weight.
And I guess my question is mostly for the councilman. It seems like this is going to go regardless. But I'm saying for future use.
No. I don't want you to start your premise incorrectly. What I said is, the building is going to be used, and it legally can be used for certain thresholds. From the very beginning that he approached me, I said absolutely not, and he has to come back, and he has to come to the community. So whatever he has to do, the only hammer that I have right now is, because I'm also doing another line, is that building has to be up to code and all the other things. But whatever programming he wants that the community has to accept, we can put provisos and criteria and all that other stuff. So I have been very clear with the Office of the Addicted Services. I have not let, I inherited this stuff from Frankford. We didn't get 100 houses last year. We got 100 houses over the last couple decades. And I have done everything I possibly can to minimize it. I'm not against recovery. And I've gotten beat up in this community because I've said it, because we all have folks under recovery. But we need to do this right. We need to work with the good actors and we need to close the bad actors. But in the meantime, I've not allowed anybody else to come where I had the hammer to stop it. Because I said we just have more than our fair share in this city.
And I wasn't trying to imply that. But what I'm saying is our community is saturated with houses. With veteran houses. I mean, it's saturated. It's like we got a sign on the boulevard and a sign on 95 saying, bring it to Frankford.